Did the Undisputed Era win all the gold? For Smart Week, my name's Chase,
Ethan.
John Cool.
and this is our morning after review of Takeover Toronto 2019. So, obviously, the answer to that is no. They did not.
All right. Well, it's been real, guys.
It really
All
fucked
right,
me.
so you guys had your piece.
Yeah, that's it. It really fucked me. I'll say that.
So technically, this is the morning after, right? For Takeover, is that?
Yeah, I wanted to name it Morning After Ish, but I was worried that some kind of YouTube algorithm would lose our video, like no one would ever find it. So I just kept it. But it's the morning after Ish. It's the morning after SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's go with that.
It is. You're right.
Full disclosure, we were 2 out of the 3 of us were way too drunk to do a morning after review yesterday morning. So
Yeah.
here we are. But yeah, so honestly, overall, I think this was a super killer show. They went in very different directions than I thought they were going to go for most of these matches. But this is one of the few shows I'm like not mad about it at all. I think every single match on the show did exactly what it needed to do, and all of them were wonderful. I enjoyed every single match.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
It was a really. I mean, it's NXT is always solid, but this one I did really enjoy aspects of this one more so than I think the other ones. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm sure as we start getting into it that it'll bubble to the surface.
Dude, definitely. So let's go ahead and start down the card here. Apparently, Takeover Toronto had a pre-show. That's totally news to me. We're not going to talk about that because it didn't do anything.
It may have been the you know how they do the live taping for the show for the next day, or like next Wednesday they always air the.
Well, it was like apparently it's just a lot of video packaging and stuff. I think those tapings they honestly do afterward, which is weird. It's like you just saw one of the best shows ever, and then you get to see like a cool down show.
Yeah.
But because the thing is, like, what if one of those wrestlers shows up on the next show? You can't have them like come out without the belt before they lose the belt.
They've done that before.
I mean, they have, but I don't know, man. I feel like
it's not ideal.
A weird way to go.
More work.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So the show starts off on a very high note. NXT Tag Team Title match, Undisputed Era versus the Street Profits. Dude, I could watch. I wish they would just do like a best of 7 series with these two teams, and that's how they drop the belts for Street Profits. Because I was watching this match and I was like, this is so beautiful. I could watch it over and over. Really liked the double team spots. The sort of redemption angle for Dawkins with the PK. He went for the first one with Bobby Fish, kind of dropped him on his fucking head. So next chance he got, he actually jumped over again and actually landed it. So I kind of like the little story that told. And then of course the double team that O'Reilly and Fish did, where it was like the 2-person like code breaker into the stalling German suplex.
Oh my god,
dude,
that was beautiful.
Is so strong. It's ridiculous. The dude is jacked. I wish he had better luck with his knees, because shit, he might be NXT champion.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
It's funny that you mentioned Angelo Dawkins, because that ended up being one of my main takeaways from the match, I guess. And maybe not necessarily a takeaway, but something that was in my head the entire time was just like, good for you. Good for Angelo Dawkins, because I don't know, Chase, I can't remember if you were at the show, but the very, very, very first time that I ever saw them come to Nashville for NXT, which was like 2016, Angelo Dawkins was on that card, man, as like the very first match against like I don't even remember who he was against. This was before Velveteen was even conceived, back when he was still Patrick Robinson.
So he wasn't a Street Profit then. He was a single star.
He was just Angelo Dawkins. His fucking gimmick was that he wore a headband and basketball shorts. That was his gimmick.
I do remember.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a solid gimmick right there.
So now, and he jobbed out to somebody, but the person that he jobbed out to, I want to say, it wasn't like Tino Sabatelli, because I think they were both heels, but it was somebody like to that extent. So the fact
Somebody
of
very
seeing
unimpressive.
the fact of seeing him like shine now, because let's be clear, dude is putting in fucking work,
Dude,
and it
he's a
just
star.
feels so good, and it feels like all these other companies, like NXT is one where you can actually make something of your character and of
Definitely.
yourself. Like it feels like, you know, it just feels like they actually know how to develop a character, So it's going to be interesting to see, can AEW do that? Maybe WWE does that at some point.
I think AEW is going to do a
Wouldn't
lot
hold
of
your
that,
breath.
and that's what NXT offers that the main roster doesn't, is putting in your own creative input. This dude is so good. He got over a red Solo cup. Did you see how many fucking cups were raised in that crowd
Yeah.
when he came
Yeah, that
out?
was impressive.
And then of course they did like the dancing through the crowd and stuff, like really eating it up. I'm glad they gave him time to do that. But to get over a freaking cup, and not a special cup, he doesn't have anything on it. It's not like, hey, this is the Prophet Cup, like, which sounds terrible, but WWE would probably try to do that. Um, but to
Wait,
get over a Red Solo Cup,
are they selling red Solo cups on WWE.com? Do we know?
probably not on the website, but at the shows, almost definitely. If not, if nothing else, they're selling the beers and stuff in red Solo cups on purpose.
For sure.
Those people didn't just bring their own cup; they bought it there and they were happy to do it.
Yeah, that's just good marketing if they're doing that.
Yeah, it's
I ain't mad at that at all.
Yeah.
strategy. But I mean, that red Solo cup is with him everywhere. I love that he like raises it for a toast, even on his entrance, where he like turns around and just like raises it up in the air like he's fucking Ricochet with a party cup. I did.
Yeah.
So Jonko, you were the only one of us to pick the Prophet. So did you feel like extremely validated? I mean, did it go the way that you thought, or was there anything where you were like wavering, like, oh shit, maybe they're not gonna pull this out? Or...
No, I think that with the news that they were going to Fox Sports 1, kind of telegraphed it with them being on Raw every week and them having such a good reception on Raw. It kind of seems silly to pull the belts off of them.
Yeah, I know
The
that
match,
me and Chase were the opposite because we thought they were
Yeah,
gonna
we thought
pull the belts because they were
because
going
they're
to
on
Raw.
Raw. Yeah.
nah,
So
they wanted to get that. They wanted to get that cross brand recognition.
great call,
Get
dude.
more eyes
And
on
that's
NXT.
true. They
What's
are
up?
trying to do that. That's the whole reason Dawkins and I'm Dawkins Ford. There we go. Yeah. That's the whole reason they're on Raw. Is like they're not there to wrestle. They don't wrestle.
No,
They're
they're there to
literally
sell the
there to
characters
like
and
get
get people to
faces
go
out there.
watch NXT.
And those are two great faces to do it.
Yeah, the match was really good. I will say that it definitely did seem like the Angelo Dawkins party. Ford was okay, but the only real complaint I have about the match was Montez Ford, and it was just one spot. So, bravo, good work. There's just one spot where he looked kind of lazy.
What spot was that?
It was one of those. He got out on the apron and was attacking the Undisputed Era, and he was
Was it
real
the
lazy
kick?
about
Was it
going
the
for
kick?
yeah. And he
I
was
think-
like, "Oh, telegraphing this, waiting for the spot to happen,"
Yeah.
and there it is.
I think I think it was Fish that was supposed to take it. I think it was just I think somebody missed their spot because I noticed that too. He ran along the apron and then he just like paused and like what's happening? Like I know what the
Yeah.
spot is, and then they do it again later and they hit it. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun. It was super clean. I'm with
But
you.
I mean, if that's the only complaint of the match, I mean, it's a damn good match.
True.
I don't know. So here's the thing too, and agree or disagree, but I don't see why anybody else does a frog splash now that Montez Ford does it, because his is the best now. Like so I mean he gets like 65 feet in the air off the turnbuckle, so I just don't understand why anybody else would drop a frog splash after his.
I mean,
it looks so good.
Yeah, he brings the swag like nobody can. Dude, what if they called it the 5-star swag splash, dude? Like, I would not be against that.
I'm out on that one.
Yeah,
I think it's just this, and we'll move on from this. But I think that this is a byproduct of everyone worshiping Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. All you see is 619s and frog splashes now. Like it's a lot of them.
The influence is definitely
Yeah, just a little observation that I made over the weekend.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Those are two big stars that actually did
Yeah,
some time
for
on the
sure.
Indies, did a decent, especially like Eddie between WWE stints. It was only like 9 months he was out, but that whole 9 months he was out doing indie shows.
He did what? AAA, CMLL,
Dude,
ECW,
he did small stuff, dude. CM Punk
New Japan.
on the anniversary of Eddie Guerrero tweeted out a match that he had a triple threat between him, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
And
I
Eddie
remember
showed
that.
up completely tired and was just like, "Hey, you guys call the match, and I'll do whatever you want." And he was just like, "This is a fucking legend. Like, what do I do?" Um, but it's just cool to see that like they did put time in on the indies, so they did teach these guys some things, and these guys are picking them up and using them.
For
Um,
sure, for sure.
but I do like that he used the frog splash. I would much prefer him to do it than Kevin Owens, although I think we're seeing Kevin Owens do it a lot less. So maybe they did say, "Hey, this is his now."
Yeah.
Cool. So Jonko, you picked up your first point in this match. That was pretty much the beginning of the end.
Boom.
Yeah, you whatever. So second match, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. I'm pretty sure we all picked the same thing on this match, right?
Yeah, we all picked Shirai.
Yeah.
Cool. Pretty obvious choice there. I think Candice is great, and she had a really nice callback to she did the mustache ride to shout out Joey Ryan. I don't know if anybody else saw that. But I don't think anybody thought that she was going to win this match. She literally hasn't had any other matches. And I don't know, she generally just hasn't been pushed at all. It's hard to when your only story is that you're the sidekick for all these other people vying for a title.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot take. I thought this was probably the weakest match of the night.
And it needed to be,
I didn't
honestly.
I didn't much care for it. I thought it was okay.
Over.
Yeah, I thought it was okay, but I thought it was fairly uninspired. But I didn't expect much. Didn't expect a ton. So I wasn't too upset about it.
I thought the beatdown on from EO was good. I will say I am not a fan of EO coming out doing a cheap Nikki Cross impression for her entrance now. I don't think we needed that.
Yeah, that's real goofy. That's big goofy.
She come out with a hat.
Hood.
Yeah, but she was like grabbing her hair and stuff and like
just constantly shaking her damn dreads.
Yeah,
throwback there. What's up?
It was weird.
I like her. I like the lights and the music itself, but it was a little strange.
Yeah, her actual like entrance just needs work.
Did you notice? And again, I could be mistaken, but so when she was climbing in the ring, you noticed Mara was talking about her being a Joshi wrestler and stuff. Now, am I crazy, or did they start leaning more into that and playing that up after the AEW stuff?
Yeah, 100%, dude. They didn't use that fucking. They probably didn't know what that word was until AEW started putting on shows, and then Vince fucking Googled it and was like, "Oh my god, what's a Joshi?"
Dude, shout out real quick to that fucking Twitter account, Vince McMahon Googling things, because it is the best.
Dude,
it is always.
Did you see the one from last? Well, we'll get into that on the second review, but damn, that was a good one. But yeah, so Io Shirai won. No surprise there. Wasn't a terribly great match, but it did what it needed to do. It got her over. I'm assuming she's probably next in line for the title if Mia Yim doesn't get a rematch. But we're not fantasy booking that because I can't afford to lose any more points. Next up, we get a cool little brawl between Matt Riddle and Killian Dane. I really like that they haven't given this an actual match yet. I think this makes both of them look strong, and they're consistently going back and forth. So this isn't a situation where somebody's trying to brawl with Braun Strowman and Braun keeps putting them through shit on the side of the stage. Like in this one, they even both went down. Which I think is awesome. It's exactly what we needed for it. Really looking forward to next Takeover when we get the payoff finally to this match.
Yeah, it should be one of the marquee matches for that.
Oh, it's going to be
anyway. The way they're building it.
I think a lot of people too are in for a surprise with Dane because we haven't really seen him used in NXT. It was especially on main roster, but on NXT the way he was used he was pretty prominent there.
He was a tag wrestler.
Before yeah, he was wrestling as what, Damo? Like Big Damo?
Big Damo.
Big
Hell yeah.
Damo.
He was pretty much I may be mistaken because that was kind of before I started really getting into the independent scene as much as I am now. But like, he was kind of that Keith Lee type, like the really
Yeah,
big
like
body, acrobatic type.
Yeah,
Keith
he
Lee,
was real
Kevin
big in
Owens. Yeah, he's fast.
Defiant and Progress.
Yep, and he was
Um,
wrestling everybody like over there. He was wrestling like Drew Mack and like all those kind of people. I think, unless I'm mistaken.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was
I
100%.
think as a single star, he will do very well if they push him the way that he's being pushed right now. Make
Yeah,
him look like a legit threat, like he's been held
Man,
back by this faction that he was in, not the other way around. Um,
man, you know what? I wish they'd just make him the Lars Sullivan character. That'd be awesome.
that would be cool because he's not a huge racist piece of shit. That would be really awesome. I think
Yeah.
that's a great
but does
shout.
WWE know how to book that?
Oh
I thought
no,
that was a
they
requirement for
don't even know how to
WWE.
work with people who aren't racist. They're like, oh, wait, hold on. So you don't hate people and also you're gay? No, that's cool. That's cool. We know exactly where to put you. The undercard. It's like, all right. But that person's still a star, so you could just try. Um, whatever.
Mm-mm-mm.
Next up, we got what I think is match of the night. You guys may or may not agree. The triple threat for the NXT North American title: Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne versus the Velveteen Dream. Dude, I thought Dream's entrance was awesome. I thought this whole damn match was awesome. There was a really cool spot on the outside about halfway through the match. Um, I'm totally blanking here. Um, but I remember like as the spot was going off, I was just like, man, this is it. Like this is what makes this match is stuff like this. Their willingness to be so creative and work together so well. Um, and one more shout out. There was a spot where Pete Dunne was going to do a moonsault off the second rope to the outside. Velveteen was out of place because he had just been shoved by Roderick Strong. He dove into place to make sure that Pete Dunne stayed safe. And I think that is so important to call out because I think Roderick Strong could have had Pete Dunne, but with them, the other two wrestlers expecting Dream to be there, I love that Dream did everything he could to be there. And I think that says a lot about how much he cares about this and how much he wants to be great at this. So, I don't know. I saw that and I was like, fuck yeah, man. Dream is easily becoming one of my favorite wrestlers.
So we all had Roddy for this one. I think it's important to note.
Yep. And I regretted it the second that I was right about Street Profits. It's like, yep, should have gone Dream. Like
I had
instantly. As soon as that match was over, I was like, yep, should have gone Dream.
a couple of notes I had. I just had like I took like a really quick notes. Morrow had one of the best calls, possibly of all time,
Was
when
it Mamma Mia?
it surprisingly was not Mamma Mia. Although he does get well, we'll talk about that later if I can remember. Um, so it's when Velveteen gets pulled into the ring post. I believe it was Velveteen, or maybe he pulls someone into the ring post, and he says, "In the home of the Raptors, nothing but nuts."
Oh,
And so instead of nothing but net, we get nothing but nuts, which I thought was just an incredible call. Uh, Hilarious that he's talking about nuts on a wrestling broadcast. And then, dude, two things. Roderick Strong with his dual elbows, like running the ropes, hitting the dual
yes.
elbows, and then doing the double stronghold, which looked so fucking weird, but was so like it worked for some reason. It looked like some sort of insect with all these legs just coming out. But what a
Yeah.
match, man! I love the ending. That's what I said to y'all. Like as soon as I finished it, it's like the ending didn't make anybody look weak. It didn't necessarily make
No.
anybody look strong. It just
Yeah.
the match just ended and it was so perfect. I wish there were more endings like that. You know, he what was it? Strong hit the finish on Dunn. And then you just got him come flying, Velveteen come flying in with the elbow and just like push him off. Just
Dude,
I loved it, man. I
you just
loved it.
refreshed my mind about a couple other things. So after the double stronghold, we had Dream tease a double Dream Valley driver. which I really wish he had brought to fruition, but I understand why he didn't. How the hell are you gonna flip over and cartwheel on top of two people? Like, you're strong, man, but that would be insanely impressive.
Yeah.
But also, after Pete Dunne hit his finish on Roderick Strong and went for the pin, Dream sliding into the ring and grabbing the arm of the ref before the three, and
Oh,
just
I love
staring
that.
him in the face like, "You're not, do not." Um, dude, he's a fucking star. I'll
Yeah.
agree that it made everybody look good, but it made Dream look like a fucking champion, and that is more important than anything because we could be having an issue like with Kofi Kingston now. Uh, I mean, Kofi Kingston still hasn't had a legit win because they did a screwy finish, but like Dream is legit beating competitor after competitor. He's beaten some great names now. Gargano, Riddle, now Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne at the same time. Like he deserves
Yeah.
this title, and
I mean,
everybody
it's worth
knows it.
noting. It's worth noting. I know that it was the UK title, but Pete Dunne on paper is the longest reigning WWE champion in what, a decade at least,
Yeah,
How long did he hold it for? Like 600?
like 2 years.
almost 2 straight years. It was just under. Yeah, and
That's some Okada shit.
he had a really
Yeah.
good line going into this. He said,
Yeah.
"I was United States or United Kingdom champion for almost 2 years." He's like, "At Takeover Toronto, I'm taking the United States title and I'm gonna beat that record." And I thought that really put himself over. Um,
Yeah.
but man,
That's a guy I'd love to see them do more with.
I'm sure they will, dude. I mean, because the thing is, right now he's not in any sort of picture in UK. Um,
Yeah, he's just kind of floating.
UK Takeover is Walter versus Tyler Bates, right, for the world title or for the UK title.
I think, but man, is that going to be good?
Yeah, that's gonna be killer. But yeah, so I don't think we'll have any issues with Pete Dunne sticking around. We
No.
might even get. I think we're gonna get some kind of a revenge match, non-title Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne. Um, and honestly, I think we'll have a lot of non-title matches on the next Takeover card, which I'm excited about. Um, but next matchup, NXT Women's Title match: Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler. One thing I do want to talk about before we get into the actual match itself is something that Shayna Baszler said before the before the actual match started. It was one of her promos the weeks prior. She put over the entire women's division in NXT while making herself look like $1,000,000. She said, and I quote, "The women's division is better than it's ever been, and I'm its champion."
Yeah.
And I was
That's a
just
good
like,
line.
yeah,
That's a damn good
that's
line.
so solid. That's like, hey, yeah, these people are absolutely great, but I'm that much greater because they can't fucking beat me.
Well, it told me the most important thing it told me was that she has finally started figuring out what I think is the weakest part of her game, and that's talking.
Oh, dude, I think her talking is great now. She
Yeah.
also had a line for Mia Yim. She says, um, "I made a name for myself outside of WWE and then came here to hone my craft." Said Mia Yim got a job because the crowd was chanting her name. Do I think Mia Yim has earned a title shot? No, I don't even think she's earned her job. Um, and again,
Yep.
like, she's not putting down her. She didn't say Mia Yim can't beat me. She is putting down Mia Yim in a way that a heel should, but it doesn't make Mia Yim look weak. Basically, what she said is Mia Yim is over as fuck, um, but I'm still a heel, so I'm gonna talk shit about her.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
And
very well worded.
I know Jonko's the only one in this one that picked Baszler. I know that me and you, Chase, we both went me and Yim, right? Is that
Yeah, I definitely thought Yim was taking this because again, now is a great time to call Baszler up. She's
that's
clearly
what
ready.
yeah, no, that's what we were that was our mindset on the pick. I had so a few things. Did y'all notice if you saw any social media, I'm sure you did. Did you see Mia Yim leave the girl hanging on the fist post?
Yeah, she was like, she had her fist up at me and just walked right by her.
Which in
Shit.
her defense, you could tell she didn't see it, but it
Yeah.
still didn't make
Well,
it
there were
didn't
other
make it
people
any
she
less.
didn't hit either, but that one like stood
Yeah.
out specifically.
Dude. So I had let's see a few things. So tap, nap, or snap, I think is fucking. I love every time they said that. for Baszler. It said this match is either going to end in a tap, a nap, or a snap. I'm like, yeah, that would actually be a good T-shirt if it's not already, and maybe I just missed it. I thought it was good to see Baszler win without Jessamine Duke or Maria Shafir. Maria Shafir. I
100%.
thought I thought it was good to see her win without them interfering. Because while she's been a really, really good champion and she has gotten a lot better on promos, they've kind of always factored into her victories. So I was a big fan of them kind of letting her shine on her own. And the only other thing, not of any importance at all, but I don't know if you noticed, Nigel McGuinness said the word submission magician about 400 times.
It's because they
Yeah.
got rid of they're trying to phase out the Queen of Spades. Probably because they're referring to Charlotte Flair a lot as the Queen. I think when her call up finally happens, there will be no reference to the Queen of Spades thing. On the back of her gear, it said Queen's Army. But
Okay.
yeah, I think they're trying to do away with that, and I think that might be a mistake. I really like the Queen of Spades gimmick.
Well,
Yeah. And plus, how
it's not.
corny is the submission magician?
Yeah, it's not good. And at the end, when she won, he said Shayna Baszler is the submission magician, and she just made her competitor disappear. I was like, oh my god, that is not
Dude.
good.
Yeah.
Say less.
Yeah,
Say less.
that almost feels like some Vince McMahon shit, but I know he doesn't have a hand in this, so I don't know. They can't nail it all the time. But if anybody
they
can get
can.
it over, it's definitely Baszler.
Well, you did see. Speaking of that, though, not to go into a sidebar, but you saw the headline come out that said it was like, "Get ready to worry" or whatever. Vince McMahon to be more involved with NXT going forward. Is
Yeah,
what
of
it said.
course he is. It's about to be on TV. That's all he cares about is what the TV product looks like, and even
Mhm.
if he is ruining it. Um, but one more shout out for the match. I thought this match was really great. I really like your call out, Jonko, where she didn't have her sidekicks at the ring, so this is the first person she's beaten on her own in a while, and I like that a lot. The only thing that I didn't like in this whole match was when Mia stuck Baszler's arm in the stairs while Baszler is pretending that she can't get her arm out of the stairs that she just easily stuck her arm into, while Mia poses and then kicks it. Um,
I don't ever like those spots.
well, so I was thinking about it as it was happening, and the spot could have been done well. One, Mia needed to hurry up. She needed to act like time was of the essence on this. Like Baszler could
And
pull her
pose
arm out at any
afterwards.
time, and what she should have done is done some kind of like kick or slap or whatever, and have Baszler like drop onto the stairs. Like she's unaware of what's going on, and then have her snap out of it in pain once she hits the stairs. I feel like it could have gone over a whole lot better, but this whole thing was cheesy. Baszler pretending like there's some kind of hook inside the stairs. It just like there's Hornswoggle got hired for the night and just grabbed her arm and wouldn't let go. I don't know. It felt super phony to me. I was like, that was the one thing in the match where I was like, I'm trying, but I just can't believe that this is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, so again, Jonko with another point up on us. Um, about this point in the show, I was sweating a little bit. I was enjoying myself, but I could feel the title belt just walking out of my house. And yeah, that was a real bummer for me. But that's all right. After that, we go straight to the main event. This was not a terribly long show, but Takeover never really needs to be. They all get the time that they need and nothing more. They don't fill it with crap.
It's to the point, concise.
Yeah, definitely. The final match of the night, 2 of 3 falls match for the NXT title, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. I don't think this was their best encounter, but I still think it was a good encounter. Really like the Wolverine-inspired Gargano attire. This was the one time I wish he had left the ring jacket on, because once he took it off, the attire was unnoticeable and it almost felt like it lost its appeal. But with the ring jacket, I was like, man, that is fucking cool. That is really good. Um, man, I don't
This was
this
a this was a really good 3 stages of hell match. You
it
know,
was,
like
yeah, and that's exactly what it is 3 stages of hell.
yeah,
Um, especially, I am glad that we knew what the third fall was going to be going into it. Although I wish they had talked it up a little more. Like, if they get to the third, because they were acting like nobody could see it, like nobody knew
Yeah.
what it was.
They made a couple of references to it through the match, but they never really put much emphasis on it. About the only real hype you got behind it was a very well done. I have to note a very well done video package put together with William Regal, and that aired, I believe, towards the end of the pre-show. It's about the time that I tuned in. Um, but they ran it again, I believe, before the match, just talking about how crazy the structure is and all that. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a good build for it.
I wish we
But
had
then it was
gotten
like
some
the
kind of
announcers
camera
just were
shot
like,
for it. Like, hey, look at
yeah.
this. It's got weapons attached to it. If it gets to this, things are gonna get crazy. Like, hype it up, make people want to see that third fall, because we're gonna
Well, I
get
think
it
that's what the
regardless.
video package was supposed to do. Because I mean,
Yeah.
they did show pictures of it, and with the barbed wire at the top and the chairs and everything,
So
and the kendo sticks.
that video package, if I'm not mistaken, that only showed when you're talking about, because I don't remember seeing that before the match started. I think the video package they showed before the match started was just the same video package they've been using to hype the match. It was where
Maybe
Regal was
maybe
like,
so. I felt like I had seen it twice.
I
um,
didn't know. I didn't even know there was a cage. And like I read where people that were there, like did not. They said that they did such a good job of putting the tarp around it that they didn't know there was a cage there. Like
Hmm.
until it started descending. So
dang,
I kind of like the element of surprise there in a way. I kind of feel maybe like the reason they didn't like emphasize. Uh, well, I want to say that they wanted to not, give away the ending by knowing that they would split the first two. But I do, the first two falls. But I do think that, kind of like you said, they could have been like, if it does go to a third fall because of, the bad blood between these two, like this is what there's gonna be. Even if it was just like that, what WWE loves doing with like the flickering images of stuff, like overlaid on video, like some shit like that, just to kind of hype up the structure a bit more. I don't think it would have been worse off
Well,
for that.
I think as far as the idea of getting to the third match, I think everyone threw that out the window when Johnny Gargano got a chair and just thumped
yeah,
Adam
I
Cole
like
and
that.
was like,
I
"I
actually really
forget
like
it,
that.
brother."
I was a
I
big
really
fan of
like
that
that.
as well.
Um,
I thought it was great.
It
I thought it was
really
a really good way to do it.
it helps break the stereotype of, hey, we're each going to get a pinfall on each other, because that's what everyone was expecting for good reason, especially since NXT has had so many of these 2 or 3 falls matches in recent history.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
so I did
becoming a
think it was
go-to.
nice for Johnny to purposely give up the first fall to get the second one. Um, I thought that was a really nice touch.
And then use the chair to sit back and just enjoy the. And what I thought was cool as well with that is it's a very heel thing to do that. No one's gonna disagree there, I don't think. But because Johnny Gargano is so over, or Gargano is so over, and because it fits the story so well, he can do that, get away with it, sit back and gloat, and it's still a very face thing for him to do.
Yeah, and I think him playing it up to the crowd, like, he was just like, whatever. I wanted to
He's
fucking
like,
hit him, so
yep,
I hit him.
yeah.
yep, gonna give this one away real quick.
Yeah.
So we all we all got this one. We
Thank
all
God.
got this. We all picked
Dude,
Cole.
after the night they had, I was really worried. I was purposely not checking Twitter because I saw Takeover late, but I did. I was drinking at a wedding. Full disclosure, I was very drunk. It was an open bar, and in my drunk mind, I was like, "Let's check Twitter," not forgetting about the wrestling temporarily. And I opened it, and the first thing I saw was, I smell an Undisputed Era call up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening? What is going on?" So when I saw these matches and Roddy didn't win and Fish and O'Reilly didn't win, I was like, "Oh my god, Adam Cole's gonna lose his belt too." I was like, I'm getting 1 point out of this whole thing." Um, but luckily, Adam Cole retained, so hopefully that keeps the era as a whole on NXT for a little while. Um, but man, yeah, thank God that Adam Cole stayed champion. I like Gargano. I think that Adam Cole versus Ciampa is definitely the way to go. If Ciampa's not ready, you throw Dream in there. Um,
Honestly, and I don't know how hot of a take this is. Maybe I haven't read anybody, saying it online, but that doesn't mean anything. Is I'm sure that we got to start speculating Gargano may even get called up as early as tonight on Raw. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
what do you
I
have to
think
do with him at this point?
so here's
I
the
think
thing.
he's run his course in NXT.
He's definitely run his course with Adam Cole. I don't want to see another Gargano Adam Cole match. They've been great, but you can tell this is where it starts to go down.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Yep.
you hit that peak. Their 25 match was the peak. This is on its way down now. It was great, but eventually it's just going to be good, and then nobody wants to see it anymore. Don't burn this great thing you've already done.
Yep.
But Gargano Gargano and Ciampa have both already been called up. So if Ciampa is
Yeah.
ready, who's to say that Vince doesn't just pull him again and make him a tag team on the main roster? I don't want
happen.
that.
Yeah.
But technically, they've already had the call up. They've wrestled both brands already. So if Vince wills that, that's what he wants. That's what's going to happen. So you could be right. They could debut tonight. Gargano could come out on his own and be like, "Oh, I'm not alone," and then out comes the Blackheart. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But could be.
We'll see.
But yeah, I don't know.
Real quick. I mean, if Gargano stays in NXT, let's do real quick, like maybe a smidge of a fantasy booking. So if he stays in NXT, what's his next move? I think you already said tag team, but if he goes to Raw, what's his next move? Or SmackDown?
If he goes to the main roster, what's his next move?
Well, first, if he stays in NXT, who do you book him against?
Oh shit.
Because I
So
can't book. I don't know if I can book him against anybody right now in NXT.
yeah, honestly, I think now is the perfect time to let him kind of fall back in the fallout from the match. Sell the injury as him being stepping away from the ring for a little bit. Even have him manage Candice LeRae. Get Candice LeRae in there. They've done the opposite for so long. Like, why not have him take a step back and do that? Because anyone else, he's not going down to the North American title. It wouldn't make any sense for him to be like, well, like, I clearly can't beat the NXT champion, so I'm just gonna stop trying. I'm gonna go after somebody who's easier.
Yeah.
If Gargano were heel, I would say let him cheat to beat Velveteen Dream for the title on a weekly show. Do that quick title change, and then immediately have Velveteen say, "Hey, now's my chance. Adam Cole, get your ass out here." But I don't see that happen. I don't know. Maybe with all the losses, Candice just got her ass whooped too. Maybe they both turn heel. Just,
So you think if he were to debut on one of the main brands, you think it's as a tag team?
I think
As
the
of
only
right
reason
now.
they're calling him back up to the main brand is if Champ is ready as well. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. If he stays in NXT, I think you get maybe at the next takeover you get a Tyler Breeze match. I'd like to see that, but
Yeah, I could do that.
Well,
outside of that, I don't want to see him entangled in with the possibility of him going to the main roster any day now. I don't want to see him get entangled in this another year plus long storyline or anything like that they're just gonna have to cut short and leave everyone hanging.
you know what terrible thought I just had? Even if
Uh-oh.
Ciampa's not ready, Ricochet lost the United States title match last night. They could stick him and Ricochet back together. Because if I'm not mistaken, when they found out Ciampa was going to be hurt, they did stick the two of them together for a little bit before Ricochet went and tagged with Aleister Black. I may have my timeline a little jacked up then, but even if I'm making that up, that definitely sounds like some shit they would do.
Man, as a I'll save my thoughts on Ricochet.
Yeah, we'll get there. But real
Dude,
quick, second fall, because we haven't even got past the first fall in this match. That's a rabbit hole. We could go there for days on both Gargano and Cole. Gargano does take the second fall with the Gargano escape. I was a little disappointed that this wasn't a direct pinfall, simply for the fact that He did do he purposely gave up the first fall to get these chair shots in. Like, use that. Show that he got beaten so bad um, he can actually be pinned at that point. That way, it shows, like, it gives you the idea that, hey, Gargano's going to win. Cole hasn't got an actual pinfall on him yet, and Gargano clearly has the advantage at this point. I think that's what they were trying to do with the submission as well, because he was hitting him across the back. But I don't think it sold the effect as well. And then, of course, during that second fall, Johnny started putting in the weapons in the ring. And one thing that made me laugh very hard is that the crowd took it upon themselves to start chanting Johnny Tables. That shit, I got to pop. I popped hard on that. That was super funny. I don't know. Other than that, I feel like the cage was fairly unimpressive. They teased like the barbed wire thing, but he never actually did anything with it.
I don't get the need for the barbed wire tease. Like, we know, well, the collective majority, I guess, knows that they're not going to use barbed wire, so we don't really benefit from it being teased every time there's like a hardcore match, or they're going all out. Like, look at this bat, it's got barbed wire on it. We're gonna look at it and set it back down. Like,
I think that
Yeah.
I think that what ended up happening, because there was a spot where they were at the top of the cage, right? And Gargano had barbed wire in his hand, like just a piece of it. I think he was in the moment saying, "Yeah, we're gonna do something with this shit," and then probably Cole said, "Yo, dude, you remember where you are? Do you remember who we're working for? Maybe let's not do that." And he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're right. All right, well now I got to do something with this. I'll just hold it and fall, whatever."
I don't know.
I'll
I
just have
definitely
this
think it was
in my
supposed to be a
hand.
tease, kind of like the Dream Valley Driver was. Like, it was never
Maybe,
actually supposed to
man.
happen. But the problem is the tease was so weak that it was like, why did you grab that? Why did you even touch that? You could have just left it up there.
Like, I was waiting on like some real nasty looking like Gargano escape with it or something. Like,
I also, when he grabbed it, because he didn't wrap it around his fist, I also thought we were
yeah,
going to get
I thought he was like
escape with it.
about to garrote with it or something.
Yes.
I was like, this is going to be disgusting, and
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it off. Like, I don't want to see this.
So, like, coupled with the fact of the whole barbed wire, avoidance, I guess, is when did kendo sticks become like the single most dominant weapon in his now? Like, that's not to say I don't know why they do it, because clearly, I mean, I understand why they do it, but like, every single match where we need an aggressive attack, going from Candice LeRae to anything, to Xavier Woods and them during that Hell in a Cell match against the Usos, is we have to break out kendo sticks. Like, yeah, you're getting beat down with a stick.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like,
because kendo stick is a safer weapon. I mean, it leaves welts, but ultimately, like, you're not going to fucking give somebody a giant concussion with a kendo stick.
yeah,
It welts you up. As far as the pain that comes from it, it's fairly minimal. Even though it does leave welts, it's not as bad as like getting hit with a fucking sledgehammer. It mainly, and this is the biggest part, it's loud.
Yeah. It sounds really good when
Like,
you hit them with
just
it. And it breaks. It breaks really easy.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going to break a chair, it either has to be gigged or you have to fucking lay into that person. And again, risking injury. So kendo sticks have definitely, WWE has really relied heavily on them. You know, Becky was coming out with them for a while. They use them in a lot of these hardcore matches. Like, some of these matches where they're using weapons, it's like the only weapon that gets used. Dean Ambrose was doing that shit.
yeah. I mean, I think I don't have a problem with them. I think when you and that goes with anything though, with chairs especially, when you overuse it, you lessen the allure of it.
I agree.
Like, oh, what's he reaching for? He's reaching for a kendo stick. Like, we all know this. If
Unless
you're
it,
reaching, or a
unless
table,
it's
I guess.
somebody's thing. Like, in the Attitude Era, Steve Blackman, if he grabbed a
Oh,
kendo
hell yeah,
stick, you're like, yeah, he's Steve
hell yeah.
Blackman. Of course he's going to get a kendo stick.
Yeah.
Same thing for Triple H. When he reaches under the ring, he's going for a sledgehammer. We know that.
But nowadays, you could make a special move called the played out, where it's actually a kendo stick. You take it and you do a suicide dive with it.
No, Jocko, you love Tope Suicidas. Remember, they're your
Oh,
favorite.
God. No.
Tope Suicida.
That's good shit.
Mamma mia.
Oh shit!
Fucking-
Yep, I remember now. That you were talking about Mamma Mia earlier. Uh, when they jump off, when they fall, well, they don't jump. When they fall off the top, and he says "Mama effing Mia," that for me, I was like, dude, I lost it. I was like, what the fuck? Did he just say Mama effing Mia? I was like, yes.
Yeah, I
But
was watching that right next to my wife, and my wife was like, "Why did they say that?"
was
I'm
it
like,
during the Gargano Cole match where there was actually a Mamma Mia chant?
no, I think that was during the triple threat.
Okay. I just remembered hearing it at some point. But I was like, that's pretty cool.
Dude, that triple
He's
threat
got the
match, they
they
were
got
just
the
chanting the whole time.
he got the corniest line in the world ever over. That's
Yeah.
dope.
I mean,
Dude, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's his catchphrase. Like it's the reason that he's over. Like he started saying that, and people were like, "Yeah, let's fucking say it too."
Yeah. I respect it. But at the
just
same time,
see-
like, man, it's cheesy.
Just seeing him work though, just like seeing Morrow work, like just actively how fucking focused he is
Mhm.
that's why I think he's the best at what he does. In my
Yeah.
opinion.
His passion comes through, and you can tell he does his research. When he says something, you can guarantee that it's fact. There may be 1 out of 100 times that he's wrong, but for the most part, like he's telling you things that actually happened. He's throwing back to other pay-per-views when this thing happened, and that's why this has been sparked. During the triple threat match, he was constantly talking about how the reason that they're both in this match against Velveteen Dream is because they hate each other, and here's why. Back at this pay-per-view for the Dusty Classic, Roddy turned on him, and that's when he joined the Undisputed Era, and they've had tension ever since. It was nice to bring those things back because some people didn't watch the video packages going into it. Some people, or maybe they'll watch the just clips of the match on YouTube, and you still get those tidbits, so you still buy into the story because he is doing such a good job of filling you in on the history. And
He
nobody
also
else is
does.
doing that.
He also does a good job of referencing things that happen outside of WWE. There have been
true,
repeat
yeah.
times where, like, he's more or less said, like, "Hey, this rivalry, this has nothing to do with WWE. This has been going on since before these guys came here."
Yeah.
Like, I actually had that thought last night watching the AJ Ricochet match. We'll talk about that more later, but I was sitting there thinking, like, Morrow would probably call back to like their matches over in England where they were going back and forth for a little while, not on any of the big indies, but where they were having these matches, and he would probably call back and be like, "Yeah, these guys have a history. This they've been doing this against each other for a while."
Yeah.
Like the first time I watched them was like, I think it was maybe ICPW or something like that, something weird. But anyway,
long time ago.
It's a little discussion for another time.
Yeah. But to wrap
Good show,
things
though.
up at the end of the match,
show.
they
Damn
do
good show.
climb onto the very like gimmicked ledge that's on the corner of the cage. At first, I thought this was a table. I'll be totally honest. And then as they were climbing it, I was like, "That thing is fucking thick." I
didn't know what it was. I kept, because Heather was at this point, she was watching it with me, and I kept going, "What's in that corner?" And she's like, "I think it's a table." And I was like, "It doesn't look like a table. It looks like just like a ledge."
Yeah,
like a
and that's
ledge.
literally all it was. It's a platform they attach to the cage. Very gimmicky. I don't know. Not my favorite ending. They both fall off. Cole rolls over on Gargano, gets the final fall. He retains the title. Love that Cole is still the champion.
Thought it was a cool way for him to win the match, though.
Yeah, and I think it makes Gargano still look good because really Cole got 0 pinfalls on Gargano.
Yeah,
he won the first one by DQ. He won the last one because they both crashed and burned, and he happened to be the guy to roll over. In that regard, this was a good finish. I think what they were supposed to do probably looked a lot better than what actually happened because they were also supposed to hit a second tape. Praying for both of their shoulders right now because I'm sure not hitting that second table Probably hurt a little bit hitting that mat.
I looked away. I didn't realize how they had hit the ground. I was like, "Oh shit, they missed."
Yeah,
When I look back, I was like, "They missed. They're dead.
They like
They're
halfway
dead."
missed.
Well, like just the quick glance up, I couldn't see that one table got hit.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes you hit that one table and it just kind of flips you forward.
Imagine
And
if
makes
this was
things
a
a lot
one
worse
table
than they were.
spot.
Oh my gosh.
Because they
Nope.
would have missed it. They would have just hit the mat. They would have fucking superflied that shit. Minus, killing their girlfriend 20 years before. Whatever.
Shots fired.
You guys
Shots
didn't know that happened? But yeah, so to end the show, Undisputed Era, carry Cole out. I honestly thought we would get some kind of Ciampa appearance there. But we didn't. That's fine. We got Gargano getting helped out by Candice at the end of the match. Pretty standard finish. Again, I think this has to be the end because they're on their way down from this point.
Yeah.
Any final words for Takeover Toronto?
I think that pretty much. I think I pretty much hit all my.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Overall. Oh.
Here we go. Another. This isn't relevant to anything at all.
The best kind.
I said. Note, unpopular opinion. I think Johnny Gargano. I think he has one of the worst themes in wrestling.
Oh, dude, I completely disagree, but that's fine.
That was what I noted.
That song gets stuck in my head so much. I love his theme.
I don't know what it is about it, but it just doesn't. It's not bad. Like I don't think lyrically or anything, but
yeah. Do you hate Paramore too?
It doesn't get me like pumped. I think is the main thing. It's like it doesn't get me pumped. But yeah,
I can see where you're coming from. I have feedback for later on a theme song.
Yeah, segue.
I have feedback for later on a theme song, but we won't get to that right now. But I will say.
Oh, I think I know what this is.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Talking about my punishment.
No, actually, I'm not.
Okay.
We're not even there yet.
Dope. Good, because
we're talking about catching flies and shit.
Oh, dang. Okay. All right.
Generic Metal Pack 2.
I think that's a good place to wrap then. Guys, This has been our morning after Takeover Toronto review. Stay tuned because as soon as we go offline, we're going to give it probably about 5 to grab water and whatnot. We're going to go live again with the SummerSlam review. But before we go, I want to make sure that you follow us on Twitter at SmarkWeek. That way you can talk to us about wrestling literally all the time because that's what we love to do. But for Smart Week, I'm Chase.
Ethan.
John Co.
And we'll see you guys again in just a few minutes.